It is. We'll wait. Hello again. I don't know. Is
Not working.
it is now. No? We'll get started here momentarily. It's hard to hear sometimes, even with the mics on, and so we'll see if we can get those going. Y'all shut up real good.
Oh, okay. I think you're right.
And I think we're on. Great. Welcome to our last meeting in April. It's hard to believe that we're almost in May, but we are. And everybody hopefully had a good weekend and did yard work and did pleasurable things. But I'll call us to order. Our invocation tonight will be given by Councilman Rick Lockridge, and I will lead us in respect to the flag. Please rise.
Dear Heavenly Father, you have blessed each of us and many of our citizens in numerous ways. We thank you so much for that. Yet there are people in our community that need help. Please help us find ways to help them and give us guidance to do so. We come to you tonight as men and women that want the best for our entire community. You have given us so much responsibility, and let us live up to that responsibility and give us the wisdom to make the right decisions. We hope that you are proud of what we've done and will do in the future. There are so many great employees working each day for our citizens. We ask you to give them strength and wisdom so that they can give 100% each day. As you know, these are troubling times that we live in. There is much conflict in our world and even in our community. Please take care of our employees and our citizens and keep them safe and healthy. We should always follow the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. We also need to remember your request to love others as you love us. If each person would treat each other with love and compassion, it would make a huge difference in our community and our world. God bless this country, our state, our county, and our city as we move into the future. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a couple of things before we get into the body of our meeting. And the first item is the swearing-in ceremony of Carolyn E. Galloway, municipal judge, and the presiding would be our city attorney, J. Frankie McLean. Ms. McLean, Ms. Galloway.
Yeah.
Yeah, just come around here. These your grandchildren?
They are.
What, they're gonna hold the Bible?
They're gonna hold Bible.
Now, let's see if y'all can. That'll be near first.
You got to hear me.
Just like this. Place your left hand on the Bible. And raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Carolyn E. Galloway,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I am duly qualified,
that I am duly qualified,
according to the Constitution of the State of South Carolina,
according to the Constitution of the State of South Carolina,
to exercise the duties of the office
to exercise the duties of the office
to which I have been appointed,
to which I have been appointed,
that I will,
that I will,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge the duties thereof,
discharge the duties thereof,
and defend the Constitution of this state
and defend the Constitution of this state
and of the United States,
and of the United States,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I did want to take the opportunity to give our newest judge, I understand you're a Delta, I don't know why, I see all the red, so, but we wanted to, as council, to present you with these
Thank you
roses.
very much. Thank you. I am so honored to have been appointed by this council. I am especially proud to be the first woman and the first African American. I pledge, as I indicated in the oath that I just took, to do the best, to do the duties to which I have been appointed. And I thank you all for coming, my sorors, Del Anderson Alumni Chapter, Delta Sigma Theta, my family, my church members, colleagues, friends, some judges are here. I thank everybody for coming.
I didn't get roses.
So we'll move along and hopefully you guys can hang with us because, you know, it always gives us, you know, special pleasure, our council members and I, to do things when we honor our community. And at this time, we want to honor the young ladies of Westside High School, the basketball team. And I'm looking for Coach Roberts. Right here. I'm going to get that. Miss Roberts, my sister-in-law, to come up. And I'm going to read a proclamation, and we've got a few gifts here, but if you would be patient with me. The proclamation reads, in celebration of Westside Lady Rams State Championship. It says, whereas the City of Anderson salutes the Westside Lady Rams performance during the 2021-22 season and winning the South Carolina High School League 4A Girls Basketball State Championship back-to-back. And whereas it's impossible to top a state championship, but the Westside Lady Rams proved it was possible when they defeated North Augusta on March the 5th to finish off a perfect season and win a second state championship with a victory score of 44-40 in overtime. And whereas the team identified is famous for its defense, everyone embraced their roles and relish the idea that defense wins championships. And whereas Westside Lady Rams finished the season a perfect 28-0 and have won more than 35 games in a row, going back to 2020. Every individual knows their role, from coaches and players down to the managers. No one is selfish, and everyone shares in the same goal. And whereas for the outstanding efforts this season, Destiny Middleton, Ari Scott earned All-State and All-Region honors, while Branya Pruitt, Isaiah Bell, and Olivia Randolph earned All-Region honors. And whereas in a sport that requires strength, agility, and accuracy, Coach Jackie Roberts and her skilled coaching staff maximize their own athletic ability and training to hone a championship caliber team and taught lessons that will provide invaluable through life, both on and off the court. And whereas the City of Anderson is very proud of the players and coaches, staff of the Westside High School Lady Rams for their prestigious achievements and hard work and commitment. Now, therefore, I, Terrence V. Roberts, Mayor of the City of Anderson, and my fellow council members, recognize the Lady Rams coaches and school officials for a remarkable season and congratulate them for winning the 2021-2022 South Carolina High School League for a Girls State Basketball Championship. We wish you great success in the future, and go Rams! Go Rams!
To express a sincere thanks to Mayor Terrence Roberts and the City Council members for recognizing our team and accomplishments today. It's evident that you love the city, that you take your role seriously, and that you sacrificed a lot to your service in this community. You made remarkable improvements to the downtown area and the City of Anderson for all the citizens of Anderson. Thank you again for the decisions that you make every day that make a lasting impact on generations to come.
And now we have some awards with the young ladies, and Jackie is going to help me pass these out. And if you're here, just you girls come up and get your awards, and maybe as you pass to me, you can shake our guys, our council members' hands. We like to shake hands. And I think we're going to take some pictures out in the lobby eventually, so we can have more room. But Q Look. Destiny Middleton. Kelsey Latson. Ari Scott. Olivia Randolph. Renaya Pruitt. Shania Hill. Zakara Powell. Trinity Bowman. Anaya Harper. Kamaya Davis. Kyla Woods. Any more players here? Do we miss anyone? These are players and managers. Great. Coaches, Coach George Mathis. Ziara Gay. And somebody named Jackie Roberts. Lady, grab that one. Jackie, we have something else for you. Jackie, I'm sorry. This is yours. And everybody has one of these. And Jackie's going to show hers off. We have yours out in the lobby.
Back to back.
Thank you, Lucas. We're out. Did we skip any coaches? Okay, thank you, ladies. Let's give them one more. Okay, that was a lot of excitement. We'll go ahead with our next item. I'll ask Chief Stewart to come up. And as Chief walks up, and he'll say a few words, we have another proclamation. And this proclamation reads, the National Police Week of 2020. And to recognize National Police Week 2022, and to honor the service and sacrifices of those law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty while protecting our communities and safeguarding our democracy. Whereas there are approximately 900 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Anderson Police Department, and whereas nearly 50,335 assaults against law enforcement officers are reported each year, resulting in approximately 14,355 injuries. And whereas since the first recorded death in 1791, 23,561 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and been killed in the line of duty, including 5 members of the Anderson Police Department. And whereas the names of those dedicated public servants are engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Office Memorial in Washington, D.C., and whereas 556 new names of fallen heroes are being added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial this spring who died in the line of duty in 2021. And whereas the service and sacrifice of all officers killed in the line of duty will be honored during the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund's 31st Annual Candle Vigil on the evening of May 15th of 2022. And whereas May 15, 2022 is designated as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of all fallen officers and their families, and U.S. flags should be flown at half-staff. Therefore, it be resolved that the City of Anderson formally designates May 15th through May 21st of 2022 as National Police Week in the City of Anderson, and publicly salutes the service of law enforcement officers in our community and in communities across the nation. And we'll sign it. And, you know, it kind of hits home because one of my good friends, Mayor Casey, at least part-time, had an officer that she lost in Columbia this week. And I know we all worry about our officers every time we go out. So text at least a couple of times, and we just keep all Casey, South Carolina police officers and their entire Casey team in our prayers. Chief.
Just have a few brief remarks. Since the first line of duty death in 1786, more than 21,000 U.S. law enforcement officers have made the ultimate sacrifice. This memorial is a reminder of the risk officers take every day to ensure public safety. You must remember that these brave officers who gave their lives were human beings, husbands, wives, fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, aunts, and uncles. In Anderson, we will celebrate and memorialize on the day of May 18th, 2022. I'd ask you to join us at the Anderson County Courthouse that day at 6 o'clock p.m., and we'll have a moving ceremony for all the officers that have died in Anderson County.
Thank you, Chief. Before we get into the meat of our minutes, meeting and approve the minutes, we would like to recognize a group of young men who are in our audience tonight. Troop 234 St. Joe's Catholic Church. Thank you for coming and observing our meeting tonight. Thank you. And your troop leaders, thank you for being involved in our citizens, young citizens' lives. Thank you. The minutes of our April the 11th meeting have been distributed. Are there any corrections or additions to those minutes? Not hearing any, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
First by Mr. Newton, a second by Dr. Thompson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes of April 11th passed unanimously. We don't have any old business tonight, and we have 4 items of new business. And our first item of new business is request consideration of a referral to the Planning Commission, a petition to rezone a portion of 2503 North Main Street from R10 Single Family Residential to NC Neighborhood Commercial. Ms. McCune.
Just to give you a quick idea where this is right next to Station 2, Fire Station 2 on North Main Street, and Maurice McKenzie will go over the details.
Okay, thank you. In your packets, you'll see a couple maps showing the property we're talking about tonight. It's the backside of 2503 North Main Street. It's actually 2 pieces of property, and it's actually in the same ownership, but you can see the front piece of the property, which is the larger part of it, which is 1.12 acres. It's already zoned neighborhood commercial. The back piece that we're discussing here is slated for rezoning. It is much smaller, as you can see. It's only 0.39 acres, and it's zoned R10 single-family residential. They would like to rezone that to NC neighborhood commercial in order to make the entire piece of property consistent and also to get it ready for development. The proposal, as we understand it right now, is for a bank or financial institution on the property, but again, they want to get it rezoned before they start submitting plans and things like that. This property was formerly used as a florist many years ago, and the main building was demolished on the front portion of the property. On the back piece, the piece that we're talking about, there's actually a metal building that's on the property now, and I'm assuming that was part of the business at one point, but that building has remained over the years. But again, this is a referral to the Planning Commission. If you refer tonight, they will consider it at their May 3rd meeting, and then when it comes back to you, we'll have more details regarding the proposal.
Thank you, Ms. McKenzie. As you said, we'll see it again. It's a referral to the Planning Commission. I'd entertain a motion or questions. Ms. Stewart?
Maurice, is this where the Anderson Skin and Cancer Clinic used to be at right there?
Yes.
That vacant piece of land right there?
Yes, sir.
That's the same parcel?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I've got a question.
Yes, sir, Ms. Lockridge.
Since this was not originally, this is R, rated R, is there plans to combine the 2 properties?
Yes, sir. Good question. If this is rezoned, they will combine the 2 pieces into one and then have that piece of property ready for redevelopment.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Good questions.
I make a motion that we send it to the planning department.
We have a first by Mr. Lockridge,
Second.
second by Mr. John Roberts. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ms. Stewart?
Just point of clarification, I guess, since it's new development, I guess our new tree ordinance, those regulations will be in effect for that as well, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And the developer's aware of those?
Yes, sir.
Our next item of new business is request consideration of a referral again to the Planning Commission, a petition to annex and zone to a PDD, which is a planned development district, approximately 19 acres located at the corner of East River Street and Plantation Road. Ms. McCune.
Yeah, the need for housing continues to exist. As you see, there's very few houses on the market, therefore new construction continues and proposals for new construction continues. This is someone we have worked with before in a previous annexation, small triangle lot here, and Mr. McKenzie will go over the further details.
Okay, thank you. Again, this is a referral to the Planning Commission, and if you refer tonight, it will go before them on May 3rd. We're still getting the information in, but as you mentioned, this is will be zoned PDD, Planned Development District, and with the PDD, you create a document, or the developer creates a document that you approve that acts as the land development guidelines for the piece of property. What we've learned so far with the application is that they are requesting to annex it and zone it to PDD in order to construct townhouse units on the property. In the application, it said around 130 units, and it also said 8 units per acre, so that makes it up to 150 units. So somewhere between 130 and 150 units is what they're proposing. This property is contiguous to the city limits on the northwestern corner of the property. Also, last year, you annexed across East River Street 203 acres for residential development. It's directly across the street from that. Again, this is a referral to the Planning Commission, and it goes on May 3rd.
Thank you, Mr. McKenzie.
Yes, sir.
Questions, comments? Mr. Roberts, John Roberts?
Mr. Mayor, I appreciate the fact that since we did approve the one across the street last year, there were some questions regarding traffic and entry and exit. I appreciate the fact that this is on Plantation Road and there's no entry according to this map on 76. So
Good point.
good thing to point out there.
Very good. Any other, that's a good comment because we had some concerns about access in and out of the property across the street. Mr. Roberts?
Just one question. Is this the same developer that did the across the street development?
Yes, sir.
Liberty?
Liberty Communities?
Yes,
Yep.
Liberty. Okay, thank you.
And their plans for across the street, if you can recall, single-family housing plus the townhomes, and they are submitted so far their plans to build the townhomes. So I think they're going to do that initially across the street, and this was an opportunity for them as well. So
Good.
Any other questions before we attempt to get it in the Planning Commission's hands? I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
First by the Mayor Pro Tem,
Second.
second by Mr. Jeff Roberts. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes to the Planning Commission. Our third item of new business is request consideration for purchase and installation of a new master control panel in the federal section of the detention center. Mr. McEwen.
per our procurement, this item comes before you for a $115,000 request. As you're aware, we operate a city jail and also a federal side jail with about 100 federal inmates in it. This is the federal portion, and Chief Stewart's here to go over the details of the request to purchase.
I would just add to what Mr. McEwen said. So the existing control panel, master control panel upstairs in our federal jail was placed in the jail in 1998 when this section opened. We're currently still under contract with Georgia Detention Services, and Mr. Lee Adaway is here also with Georgia Detention. Basically, the control panel, the master control panel that controls all the cells, is reaching its end of life since 1998, and that, along with the wiring and the DVRs, would be replaced at that price.
Thank you, Chief. Questions, comments?
I have a question.
Ms. Lockridge.
As you replace them, will there be any downtime? Or when one is not active and the other one is, will there be any time when there's no way of doing anything?
It would be just like, if you remember, we did this, I believe, 3 or 4 years ago with our city jail. Basically the same thing. We will not have any downtime as far as prisoners in the cell. It'll be a work in progress.
Okay.
Of course. Mr. Roberts.
I have a question. What is the commissary commissions? That's the funding source.
So that is a funding. We get a percentage. The prisoners are allowed to order food, canteen supplies, T-shirts, underwear, all through a commissary, whereas in the past we used to do that by vending machine. So they order and they get all those supplies once a week, and the detention center gets a commission check on all those purchases. And that percentage is what we're using for this purchase.
So these funds have accrued over time?
Yes, sir.
To the point where you can fund this entirely out of that?
Yes, sir.
I tell you, We funded a good bit this past year out of that fund, so we just account for that separately, and then it needs to go reinvested back into the jail system. So it's been a good funding source for these types of purchases.
Very good.
You can't beat that.
Any other questions, comments?
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a first by Mr. Newton,
Second.
second by Mr. Martinez. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
That's better than your cash back card on your Discover, ain't it?
It's a good program, yes, sir.
Our last item of new business is request consideration of a change order to the contract at the recreational complex. Ms. McEwen?
As each of you are aware, and I'll make just a little bit of an introduction for the viewing public as well, is that part of our strategic plan and our park recreation master plan included the expansion, which we call Phase 3 of the Anderson Recreation Complex, which is currently being installed, well underway. We had some rain delays there for a while where it would just go about 4 days, and when they're ready to do some fine grading, it would rain that one day and affect us. But the project is going well. It seems like we're past most of that rain. And but during the project, we also are looking at several other things. This is being funded by a special obligation bond as we continue to make the entire facility state of the art. And that's certainly what this is, a state of the art facility. And so a paving need was recognized, and Bobby Bevel, our Parks and Recreation Director, will go over that request.
Thank you, Mr. McEwen. The main parking lot, which opened in 2006, now 16 years old. And if you've been through there, you notice a lot of alligator cracking in the asphalt. We had asked J.M. Cope, since they had Pickens doing their paving of the new parking lot for Phase 3, to look at that and provide us a quote two ways. One, to do just a central drive, leave the parking spaces, or do the entire lot. When the gentleman from Pickens came out, he looked at several of the parking spaces. It also had alligator cracking, and he said, long term, if you do the drive, it's not going to last very long. His recommendation was to do the entire lot. As we walked, this would, as you come in off Murray, behind the signal detector from that port on, the whole circle around the main wreck would be repaved. All the parking spaces up to the red light right there. We would be out of DOT's right away. All the spaces would be lined and marked. All the arrows would still be put down. So we wanted to piggyback on Cope's work, that we would only have one mobilization fee, that when they did the paving for Phase 3, Pickens would be on site to do that at the same time. So this will improve some of the drains. Some of the storm drains have sunk a little bit, and we need to rectify that. But it will make it a brand new parking lot and create nice aesthetics to our facility. So we're coming to you tonight to request a change order and approval of $90,489 to J.M. Cope's contract to repave the main parking lot at the rec center.
Thank you, Mr. Bevel. Comments, questions? Mr. Stewart?
The main parking lot, Bobby, that's just the loop that doesn't go down to where you go to the baseball fields and around there. It's just that top part where the utility field is right there, right? It stops kind of right there.
Multi-purpose field.
Multi-purpose field. It stops right there.
Yeah, you know, when the rec center opened, Robert Street wasn't all the way open. We used to have a fountain there, and you had to turn in that way.
Right.
And early on, we had a lot of tractor trailers come through there because they didn't know how to get to the back. So a lot of that damage was done with tractor trailers, and now they just come down Robert Street and are in the back. So that is that main circle up in that area.
And just looking at some of the pictures you have here along this drainage thing, are they gonna do anything to address that, to make sure that don't happen again? Because I was just speaking to our expert on council, Mr. Roberts, and he said it was like maybe some compaction or whatever around there wasn't done right the first time, so maybe we can make sure that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, he thinks there's gonna be some repair. He won't know until he mills it and looks at it, kind of thing, but we will address that at that point, kind of thing.
And that's part of it. The proof roll is existing stone base, so that's where they're testing that and making sure they have good compaction.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. We'll do Mr. Jeff Roberts and then Mr. Lockridge.
Yes, the proof roll, David, you mentioned that. If they find soft spots, they're gonna have to dig it out, and that'll be additional cost.
It would be.
Yes.
Are we prepared to roll that into this?
Yeah, we have funds available to do it, and I mean, it's, obviously it would be necessary to do that.
Right.
And,
But you won't know until they do it.
Right.
What that is.
Of course.
Right, okay. As long as we're prepared and understand that there's probably additional costs.
Ms. Lockridge.
First, that's the main parking lot.
Yes, sir.
What will the downtime be on that parking lot, and do we not have enough spaces in the back to cover all that?
You know, when we do that, it'll be after baseball season. It'll be the end of June, 1st of July, when J.M. Cope thinks that they'll be ready to do the other parking lot. We'll have to close that entire parking lot off, and our members will be directed to park in the horseshoe area, walk up the sidewalk and come to the building, or park in the back parking lot where a lot of our staff members mark.
How long do you think it'll take to build?
He's depending on weather, anywhere from a week to 10 days.
When was this old parking lot put in? Do you remember, or do you know?
Well, this parking lot was the original one in 2006 when the facility opened.
It's taken a lot of beating.
Yes, it has.
Hard to believe it's been 16 years. Anything
June
else?
1st will be 16 years.
Yeah, Ms. Martinez.
Yeah. Coach, good to see you tonight.
Yes, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you, appreciate that. So just to clarify here, I think with what we're seeing is because we've already got contractors on site, we want to take advantage of that. I mean, I think most of us would agree that it's probably not the worst that we've seen in town, but it's probably best at this point to capitalize off that, especially with all the improvements that we're doing on that property anyways, to have it all look good at the same time. Is that accurate?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
So typically, they charge you about 15 to 20,000 for a mobilization cost for paving, and that's bringing the tractor trailers in, to bringing the milling machine in, and so forth. And so it's capitalizing on why they're going to pave for a parking lot down as part of the expansion to capitalize on their mobilization there, and then also just recognizing as part of facility improvements, this is a good move.
David, do you think we need to set some kind of provision or parameter in case there are some spots that come back and that number starts to escalate? We need to come back and talk about it again, or?
No, I have the up to $50,000 purchase ability, so if there was a change order request for that, I would just make a change order and be able to sign off on that.
Good deal.
Good. Anything else?
I'll make a motion that we adopt this.
Well, first by Mr. Lockridge,
Second that.
second by the Mayor Pro Tem. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you,
Mr. Galloway.
And Mayor, I do have just two more things to add.
Go right ahead.
Okay, in your package, you'll find the financial report from July 2021 to March 2022. Then also in there, your packet as well as our financial indicators. And it's a good way to look at our finances, where they are ending after 9 months, and just it gives you a picture of each of the categories and where we are. We will have a budget meeting forthcoming, a work session, and we'll go everything over in detail for the new budget, plus we'll kind of compare it to the old budget and also forecast forward for you. So we'll have a lot of that coming up this spring. And then also, of course, this weekend in front of you, the charade event is Friday, April the 29th, kicks off at 5 p.m., the opening ceremony, and goes throughout the weekend. So a lot of the lineups in front of you on the sheet, and you can find it on information for the public on Facebook, Instagram, our webpage, anywhere out there. We'll also have a lot of coverage by News 4, as they're a big sponsor for this event. And so we look forward to that. Our staff is very busy. They've been planning this for about 8 months now, and we're almost here. And so setup will begin Wednesday, and we'll have a busy end of the week going through the weekend. Look forward to seeing a lot of people downtown.
No doubt. Looks like it's going to be pretty weather, and I want to thank you and your team for supporting this event. And Ms. Martin, I want to thank you for the good financials here in the report. Very good. Mr. Stewart?
I'd just like to say, we had a real good, couple of celebrations at the beginning of our city council meeting tonight with Ms. Galloway and with the West Side Rams girls basketball team, but a lot of us don't know, but Brandy Bell Greer, she puts together all this stuff for us to make it look real good, and she always does an excellent job and doesn't never ask for anything. We say, hey, take care of it. She takes care of it. She does a great job, and I just want to take a moment to publicly thank Brandy for all the hard work that she does, the creativity that she does, and we're very lucky to have her.
Fully agree.
Let's go right in. I entertain a motion. Mr. Roberts.
I'm going to piggyback off of that as well, and you're 100% right about Ms. Greer. National Police Week. Just want to briefly state that if you look at the numbers that the chief that's in the proclamation, there are almost 5 times the number of average deaths last year of our law enforcement officers for 2021. And I think it goes without saying, typically we say I think, but in this case I know this council supports our law enforcement. We appreciate our law enforcement, what they do for this community, and we're thankful to have them, and just want to make that very clear. We appreciate
Absolutely.
everything that our law enforcement does.
We do.
Thank you.
I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
First by Mr. Newton, second by the Mayor Pro Tem. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We stand adjourned.
Was that interesting?